So the Build My Bag series is back for another year, and boy oh boy is it gonna be a cracker. Build My Bag is the ultimate series for golf obsessed maniacs, looking to see the best equipment golf has to offer, which finds its way into the bag of this YouTube hack. Testing, comparing and analysing, showing you what is out there and what to avoid. Covering every aspect of equipment: putters, wedges, irons, fairway woods, driving irons, hybrids and of course, drivers. So to test out these big sticks, we have come here to Al Hamra Golf Club in the UAE, and the mission is pretty simple. We need to find the longest driver out there which I can keep on planet Earth. But it's also got to look good, it's got to sound good, and it's got to feel good. To get all of that into one package, by the end of this video, a driver is going to have the accolade, in my opinion, of being the best driver in the world. So let's break this down. We have 5 drivers going head to head for a position in my bag. The Callaway Paradigm Triple Diamond, the Cobra Aero Jet LS, the TaylorMade Stealth 2 Plus, the Ping G430 LST, and the Titleist TSR3. What a lineup. So I've already tested all these drivers at the same loft, and I'm going to be linking those throughout the video. But in the Build My Bag videos, we do things slightly different. I use my current gamer ball, we adapt the lofts and the weights to be optimized for my swing and my game. So this optimizes performance, and then we can also test those clubs on the golf course as well. So after hundreds of drives over the past few weeks, here are my optimum settings for each of these clubs. So this was a process of trial and error based on a combination of factors, including my swing tendencies. So the settings shown on these drivers, that's not the optimum setting to get the most distance out of each of these drivers. Those are the settings which are optimum to my game. So let's head out onto the golf course and introduce you to each of the drivers. Now, if you want more information on these individual drivers, I will link some fuller reviews here at the top, and you can check them out after the video. But let's break down the ones in this test. All the drivers in this test are the newest releases from each manufacturer. They're also the lowest spinning versions with a more compact tour-inspired design. Get down into those comments and let me know which one is your favorite looking from the bottom and also from the top, because to get the most out of a driver, you've really got to love it. So for me, to begin with, I don't really like the look of the G430 LST. Behind the ball, it just looks a little bit busy. Also hits balls into the water. No. Lie. Both the Cobra and the Callaway, they look okay behind the ball, but they're missing a certain something. They're missing a certain je ne sais quoi. The Stealth 2 Plus looks good behind the ball. I don't actually mind that. I think, again, it's an improvement from last year. But for me, the best looking behind the ball is the Titleist TSR3. The head shape is just so nice. It's compact. It's super simple. There's absolutely no thrills going on here. It's just a really compact tour head shape. It kind of makes you feel probably a better golfer than you actually are. Behind the ball, it feels like you should put a tour swing on it, which is something that I can't always do. That one, however, is absolutely pumped. Of course, looks only count for so much. Performance is key. It's no good being a pretty shell with no substance inside. Yes, we are, mate. So let's have a look at the data collected over the past few weeks. Now, all these numbers are based on my swing out on the golf course, which is kind of in between 119 and 121 miles an hour. Some of the drivers I actually found easier to swing faster, which we'll get onto in a moment. So during range and launch monitor testing, it was actually really nice to see all these drivers develop their own personality. It allows me to know what's going to suit my own game, but also form even better opinions on what I think is going to be the best for you guys as well. Firstly, distance, and the 2 categories that we're going to look at are carry, so how far the ball travels through the air, and total, which brings into play how much that ball is likely to have rolled out after it lands. Now, in this simple assessment of the numbers, you can see that the Cobra Aero Jet and the TaylorMade Stealth 2 Plus are top of the pile. So really starting to vibe with the Stealth 2 Plus and feel confident giving it a free-flowing swing. like that. Now, let's overlay the swing speed averages, because this really does start to change the picture. So I was swinging the Cobra and the Ping significantly slower than other drivers in the test. So during my full review of the Cobra Aerojet drivers, I was finding it really hard to hit the center of the club. And I think during the Build My Bag testing, this was actually leading me to swing it slightly slower so I could control strike a little bit better. So I've seen lots of reviews of this driver now, and many testers have actually spoken about the ease of use that they found hitting it. Maybe it's a personal thing, but during this testing and previous testing, the Cobra Aerojet for me is just hard. I've just found it hard to hit, all right? Just get off my back. Now, conversely, the Ping I found the easiest to hit in this test. The swing speeds with the Ping were also a little bit slower. Now, I actually find this driver just a little bit awkward to look at, but maybe also slightly cumbersome. It feels just heavier, it feels a little bit awkward. Again, this is probably very much personal preference. Through the air, the driver head just, it felt a little bit slower. I can't put it any other way. But that says absolutely nothing about the performance, which is unreal. We're on the 5th hole here, and we're going to talk about a few other surprises. So the Paradigm was actually the shortest in the Build My Bag data collection, but it also had the fastest ball speeds. Oh yeah, I'll fade down there. That's not a huge surprise, because in every other test that I've done with drivers this year, the Paradigm has also been the fastest. For me, this also rivals the Ping on ease of use, especially on off-center hits. It really is very, very forgiving. Because that is, well, I think that's actually on the green, by the way. Go on then. Because in the testing, I was hitting this driver especially more off the heel than any of the other clubs. Now, this increased the overall backspin. What was super impressive is it didn't drop off the ball speed. So for me, the Paradigm Triple Diamond and the G430 LST, they're probably going to be the best and the easiest to hit for most golfers. Those that are looking for a low spin model, but also do need that little bit of forgiveness. Oh, it's just an absolute machine.
You or the driver?
Definitely the driver. Before we have a look at the final data sets on my faster swing speeds, my tournament swing speeds, we need to have a look at what these drivers are like on the course, because as much as the data helps make an informed decision, golf isn't played in a sim and on a launch monitor, it's played out here. I wish it was played out here all the time, by the way. In this heat, in this sun, that would be lovely. So let's have a look at how these drivers perform out on the golf course. So it's not only on this hole, obviously, that I've done testing of these drivers on the course, but a similar pattern does start to emerge. So first of all, Aerojet. Now in testing, I found this the most tricky to hit, and on the course, it's kind of the same. I think it's more of a confidence thing more than anything with the Cobra. So I am finding this a little bit inaccurate. The Stealth 2 Plus, this is an interesting one, because when I hit this well on the golf course, it's massive. And I feel like I can swing at this quite hard, but off-center hits, there are drivers in this test which are more forgiving. And the accuracy, especially on the toe strikes, potentially that twist face, they do seem to go out to the right-hand side a little bit. The Titleist is an interesting one. I feel I can shape this probably better than all the drivers in this test, but is that what I want from a driver at the moment? I'm not sure, because we're not playing with high spinning balls. You know, this isn't the 1970s, the 1980s anymore. What really matters is just a high, massive bomb drive. Shaping isn't as important as it used to be. Now, these are the two drives that I've hit off this tee with the Ping and the Paradigm. And to be honest, this is something which I've been seeing all the time on the golf course. They're very, very evenly matched, and they're probably the most accurate. However, the difference is the TaylorMade, which squirreled a little bit out to the right-hand side, is another 10-15 yards. Now, it might be in the rough, but I've still only got a sandwich to the green. This is tricky, it's tricky. The final data set is here, and it shows a huge difference in favor of one particular driver. So here are all the numbers of the drivers with me swinging at my top speed. So I found the Ping and the Cobra Aerojet the slowest, for the same reasons as I've mentioned above. I just couldn't seem to accelerate them as fast as I wanted to. The Titleist, the TaylorMade and the Callaway, those were the ones I was able to swing the fastest. But the ball speed and the distance was dominated by the TaylorMade Stealth 2 Plus. I was really beginning to vibe and like this driver, and I want to reiterate what I said in the original testing. For me, it's just a better driver than the Stealths from last year. But the TaylorMade also had an ace up its sleeve, quite literally, for the final bit of testing. So all the clubs come with a static head loft, and depending on the variability within the shaft sleeve, it allows you to alter that club head's loft lower or higher. Now the TaylorMade for me has the biggest potential of all the commercial heads available. It's an 8-degree static head, but the shaft sleeve gives me the option to crank it down to 6 degrees. Now lower lofts can make the ball speed faster, it can lower spin, and it makes overall distance easier to achieve. So after a really strong start, the Titleist just fell away. There's a couple of things I couldn't quite get on with, but it's still an amazing driver. Both the Cobra and the Ping, good, really, really good. A few foibles in there, which my own personal preferences couldn't align with. Now that leaves me with the Callaway and the TaylorMade. The Paradigm Triple Diamond, super consistent, feels fantastic. The TaylorMade Stealth 2 Plus, very powerful, a huge improvement from last year, and overall distance, fantastic. This is a tough decision. Which one's it going to be?